February the 5th, 1917, which is a heck of a long time ago. And I was born in the corner of and Walnut Street, where there's quite a housing development there. It was just one little house back in that whole big lot. And I guess I stayed there until about the age of 3 when we moved out to Uncle Bosey's farm out on West Jefferson Street, which at that time the hard road didn't quite go that far, and we had to walk about the last mile in the mud. My older sister carried me up to the farm from there because it was all, the road was good solid mud from there on. But we lived out there on the Bosey farm for I don't really know how many years, but I think only maybe 3 or 4 years when my dad got a farm of his own out on the east end of town between Rochester and Springfield, or closer to Rochester. We lived out there for quite a while, and I started school.
What did he grow on the farm?
What?
What did he grow on the farm?
I don't have the slightest idea. I was only about maybe 5 years old then. I remember riding a horse behind a plow and anything like that. But
that was Willowdale Farm.
Yeah, that was Willowdale Farm, yeah. Oh. And I don't remember too many things about it. I do remember a very crude electrical system they had there. I don't know what charged it, but unless it was a windmill of some kind, but it had enormous glass batteries, and oh hell, they stood about 2 foot square or something like that. Just a big long row of them, and that was our electrical system. For heating the house, we'll had the old potbelly stove with in the living room and one in the kitchen, and they had the regular range in the kitchen. I remember each Saturday night, whether we wanted to or not, we had to take a bath in a tub and near one of the stoves. Keep it so he wouldn't freeze while you were doing it. And normal amenities like an outhouse and all that kind of stuff went along with it. No such thing as modern plumbing. We had a pump for the sink that had a pump for the water. And it was quite a deal. I can still remember the first car my dad bought. And Model A Ford. Model T Ford, pardon me, even earlier, with wood wheels, and there was an awful lot of the roads that he had to travel when he'd go to Springfield or Rochester for groceries. And seemed like you're getting stuck, and my older brother would have to go out and haul him back in with a team of horses, or the wood spoke wheel would break, and you had to take another wheel off to him, something like that. But what was the most memorable about that car was the first time he drove it home, and he was going to park it in one of the small barns, and he headed into the barn and yelled, "Whoa," and it didn't. And it went right out through the back of the barn. He never, to the day he died, he was still being kidded about that. But no matter how loud he yelled, "Whoa," that stupid thing wouldn't stop.
I heard Mom said he was really hauling on that steering wheel.
Oh yeah, that was quite a deal. But then I don't know. I guess I went through. I remember riding with my brother on the back of a horse down to the school, which was about maybe a couple miles away, and we go across our pasture and a couple other pastures that were there that just happened to be in the right place. It was quite an event. I mean, they had all 8 grades in the school, and a one-room school, but sort of a makeshift kindergarten, you might say. And actually, that's where I attended school. And then Dad started dabbling in politics, so we moved into town. We're on 507 South Glenwood, I believe it was. And while he pursued different state jobs, and actually we pretty good there for a while. I remember when we first moved into the house, we had both electric lights and gas lights, so we were really living pretty high on the hog. And, Mom kept her, I think she got a new stove, and it was a gas stove and wood stove, both combination. And so the gas would get shut off, well, we still had the wood to fall back on. And when Dad was out of the job, well, we cooked with wood, period. But, well, we moved to quite a few houses. He never did get around to buying a home. We just, rent one and then move, and we lived at 3 different houses in South Glenwood and one over on South State. Then finally moved over onto, West Jackson, and then over to West Edwards, and by that time, well, I was finished with school, and I guess I went into the Army in 1940. I joined the National Guard for a year's pay with vacation. I mean, a year's vacation with pay in the South was the slogan they had, and the main thing they had was motorcycles, and I wanted to ride a motorcycle, so I joined the National Guard so I could ride a motorcycle with my own too. And that was in September of 40, and November of 40, well, we were federalized and put into federal service and shipped out to Camp Livingston, Louisiana. And we spent a little better than a year up until the time of Pearl Harbor. And immediately after Pearl Harbor, we were mobilized, and we were our initial orders were to head for the Philippines. But by the time we got around the Panama to go through the canal, well, the Philippines had already stated that they'd be lost and there was no chance for them, that we wouldn't get there in time, so they stopped us off in Panama, and we stayed there on Coast Patrol. And, well, from there I got discussed with Panama after 14 months and applied for officer school. Came back to Fort Riley, Kansas, where I got my commission, and after I got my commission, I met my wife, Seal O'Brien. Well, I had met her before, about 4 years before, actually. And, we went from there. We stayed for maybe several months out in Manhattan, Kansas. We had an apartment, and they shipped me, and she went home, and no, she went with me to Fort Dix, New Jersey, where I had my first assignment. And then from Fort Dix, well, it seemed like she became pregnant for some reason, and she went home, and I got shipped to Pelham Beach in Virginia, where we actually did coast patrol there. Actually, including going to Atlantic City at night. And then from there on down to Columbia, South Carolina, and I was on patrol the night that my oldest daughter was born. And when I came in, well, they already had train tickets arranged for me, my leave arranged, and everything else. And I know when I came into camp, First Sergeant met me and he said, "Congratulations." I said, "Well, what the hell for?" He said, "Don't you know you should get the message?" And they'd sent a radio message, but they sent it encoded. And my radio operator had forgot his decoding device. And rather than get him in trouble, I just said, "No, I didn't get the message." And that's when I found out that I'd become a father, and by, I think, 6 o'clock that morning, well, I was already on the train heading for home, leave already. So after that, well, we knew it was inevitable that very quickly I'd be shipping off for overseas, and I was sent up to Port of Embarkation, actually, in Boston. And, actually, we were on the seas on the way across to England on June the 6th when, ship's radio, or the ship's speakers announced the invasion. And we landed at Southampton in England, and, I guess I stayed there